Hello, my Sigma students! Welcome back to my channel. We are going to discuss types of essay today, so please listen to me. Alright, today we're going to distinguish different kinds of essay. So please bear with me as I discuss to you five types of essays. Okay, there we go. Um, No matter if you are writing a book report, a movie review, a newspaper article, or a journal entry, or even just your daily to do list, you are writing for a specific purpose. That purpose determines the type of writing that you are going to have or you're going to write. All forms of writing can be categorized into four different types, but additional one later on. First is persuasive, expository, narrative, and descriptive. In the remainder of this presentation or this video, you will learn about the specifics of each type, including each type's purpose, key features, common forms, and examples and techniques. You will also see example prompts that would help you if you're going to try writing them in order for you to establish that kind of essay or to learn to write that kind of essay. The first one is a persuasive essay. Now, from the word persuasive, you're trying to lure your readers. Try to understand to them what your point is, what your stand is on a particular issue. So here, your purpose is to convince the reader with the writer's opinion, with your opinion on a certain issue. Second, you influence the readers on a point of view of a topic that you want to tell them. And then number three, motivate the readers to take an action. Later on, we'll discuss what action is that, what action that you're going to have. Persuasive writing uses logic, reasoning, and convincing evidence. Sorry. Here in a persuasive essay, it's important that you give data so that you will have proof as the basis of the writing or the essay. Persuasive writing is sometimes known as argumentative writing. It can be seen in, for examples, advertisements, speeches, reviews, and editorials because persuasive writing can be inspiring, motivating, and controversial because you're trying to give your point, and this is your way to persuade them the things you want them to know. Okay? The key features are clearly stated opinion, point of view or claim, and then you must have a strong reasoning that is logical, convincing, and relevant to them. Evidence that is well researched and specific, such as facts, proof, for example, statistics, quotes from the important person involved. Those are very important elements for you to create a very effective persuasive essay. Tips and techniques: use a counter argument to further promote your claim. It's important that you also show a counter argument that battles your claim. Why? Because at the end or at the succeeding parts of your essay, you will battle it also. So there's a counter in the counter claim or counter argument of your claim. Here, the research the readers will see how important to discuss your topic, how important is to understand your point from the counter arguments that you're going to provide. Use word choice to build a relationship with the reader. It's important that you establish a good language or that you choose your language appropriately based on your audience. Third, use repetition to reinforce your point of view. You repeat your claim, you repeat your stand in order for them to be reminded of what you are trying to convey. Fourth, ask questions that get your reader thinking critically. It's important that you leave them with a critical questions that at the end they will have this point of realization, or point of um, point to which they want to answer it on their own based on your ideas, right? Next, here are example persuasive prompts that you want to try writing so that you may be able to have an effective persuasive essay. One, should animals be kept in zoos? This essay states your opinion of animals living in captivity. What reasons and evidence support your opinion? It's important that you give evidence. Second, what is your point of view towards the existence of aliens? Since it's might be illogical for some, but you know, let's just try. Why do you think this way? What facts, statistics, or evidence supports your point of view? Or next, if you could enact change about one thing in the world, what would it be and why? So here we have several formats of persuasive writing. First, the first paragraph should have an introduction. Here, you have to present your stand on the issue. Get their attention by telling them what you want them to know, and to do. Also, give a little background on your answer. You may do it in 4 to 5 sentences. Well, later on, I will show you an example. Second, the body or the opposing side. Remember, I told you that you need to have a counter argument for your stand. So, a persuasive essay is not good without showing an opposing side. Give ideas that challenges your stand in the first paragraph. This paragraph will be opposing points of view to provide a thorough convincing argument. So you may do this in 3 to 4 sentences. Next is the paragraph number 3, rebuttal. Now, you can also have another paragraph for the opposing side, but that's okay if you only have one. Now, the rebuttal can be 2 paragraphs. It's up to you. But if you want to have it 1 paragraph only, here you have to make it uh, a rebuttal against the counter argument. Okay? Fight the opposing side by telling your supporting evidence to support your claims or stand. Provide proof or other important details to either make your point or battle the opposing side. Then again, you can do it 2 paragraphs. However, if you only have 1 paragraph, make your point. Fight the counter argument, battle it. And the last one, the conclusion, is the summary. Summarize your stand. Again, repetition is very important. Once again, leave your readers with a strong impression. You may also have a call of for action. What is call for action? You may state there what you want them to do so that they may be able to understand your point. This is what you want them to do as readers, or by giving them suggestions on what they are going to do. Example, here this is why we should not compare ourselves with others. In the first paragraph, if you're going to read it, this is a background first. He gives the background of his stand, and then later on, he gave his stand. So in our culture, a lot of times people advise us to compare ourselves with others. You should be like your father, you can win, and others aren't as good as you. You must be the best of your class and others. And this is not always the best way of thinking. There are many reasons to change this way of thinking and begin to compare ourselves only with others. This is the way it should be, and in this paper, I will discuss some of the most important reasons for this. Now, here, as you can see, the underlined sentences are the stand of the author, or the topic sentence of the whole persuasive essay. And he also gave a background of his topic, the first part, that it's part of our culture, that it's part of the day-to-day living. So it's important that you also give, or you open some of the background ideas for your persuasive essay or for your point. Next, in the second paragraph, he gave the counter argument. Now, however, in this issue, other people may argue on the idea of comparing yourself to others. According to New York Times 2021, now this one is evidence based. There's also an evidence on this one because according to the New York Times, comparisons are a normal part of human cognition and can be good for self-improvement process. When we compare ourselves to others, we get information about what we want and where we want to be. And we get a valuable feedback on how we measure up. There's a counter for the first one. It's okay, but you battle it in the third paragraph, where there are reasons that you can give. But it's also evidence based. So, according to the research of Montaigne, he added those up. Okay, it's very important that you also that it's important that you battle that. But again, if you want to be fully fully you want to fully explain it, it's fine that you exceed to two paragraphs. It's up to you. Now, for the last one, the conclusion is that for all these reasons and because we are unique, here we create the summary. We should not compare ourselves with others, only with ourselves. In this part, he made it clear that his point is to not compare with others. The only comparison pattern that we really have is our consciousness. Okay? And then he gave an action, a call for action. We will not try to make others look bad. We will not judge so much, and we will accept ourselves as we really are. In other words, we will live happier. That is his call of action. I hope it's clear with you the persuasive essay because you are trying to persuade your readers. The next one is expository. Here, you inform the reader. Expository means informing them, explaining to them the ideas or concepts, teach procedures and steps. Like its name suggests, expository writing exposes factual information. It calls for the writer to research, investigate, and evaluate information on a topic. Expository writing is also objective. It does not include the writer's personal opinion or point of view. These are common to articles or essays about common facts, textbooks, news reports, instructions, giving you only the important information. Clear? So the key features for this one are facts, details, and other examples from reliable sources, unbiased explanations and information related to the topic, text features that enhance the information, okay, and then research for tips and techniques. You research your topic like the persuasive essay. It's important that you have an evidence-based examples or idea or data. Consider the structure when organizing your information. It's important that you know when should be the first part, the second part, and the third part. Remain objective in your explanations. Begin with strong thesis statement. Begin with an idea. Begin with a good topic statement about the topic that you're going to write. So an example prompt here is that explain the benefits of eating healthy. So you can include facts when you write something. Compare and contrast two of your favorite movies. But this one, I will give more details on comparison and contrast. And then create an instructional guide. That's an example of an expository prompt that you can use also to practice. Next is narrative essay. Narrative essay, from its term, telling a story. You do this because you want to entertain your reader. By telling the story, you give them a piece of imagination. It's like that. It can either be realistic, it can either be imaginary, fiction or non-fiction, for as long as you tell a story. It can spark emotion and creativity because you show them a picture, but it's an abstract one. It's a form of words. That's why they are painting it on their own based on your words. Narrative writing is essentially storytelling. Storytelling comes in many forms, whether you are recounting a factual or fictional events. Narratives tell a story with emotion, descriptive details, and clear event sequences. Common examples are short story, novels, screenplays, dramas, theater. These are examples. Now, the basic key features for this are literary elements. We have the characters, plot, setting, solution, theme, message, clear event sequences that build on one another. You have to be sequential, which comes first, second, third, fourth, so that you may be able to have a smooth plot or a smooth storyline. Dialogue and descriptive details is important because you want them to tell the story. If that is your technique. Tips and techniques. First, use sensory language. What is sensory language? These are words or statement based on your sensory image, a sensory, how do you call this? Based on sensory images, the use of your eyes, mouth, nose, ears, and touch. Or, in other words, the sense of seeing, the sense of hearing, the sense of smelling, touching, and um, the sense of touch. No, I said that before. The sense of uh, taste. So here, you want them to feel what you feel. You want them to see what you see. You want them to hear what you heard. No, here you want them to paint a picture, like what I said. Paint a picture based on your words. Introduce the story in a way that hooks your readers, and consider how point of view influences the plot. Again, point of view is the narrative styles. How are you going to tell the story? Is it first person, second person, or the third person point of view? Examples, your personal narrative, your favorite fairy tale from the villain's point of view. You can also tell a story about women in ancient Egypt. It's up to you, for as long as you are telling a story. Next is descriptive text. And this one is from the term describes a person, describes a place, describes a thing. It's very important also to use sensory image here. But your point is to only describe. You are not using the sensory images or sensory words to tell a story, but you are describing. Example, you want to describe a certain place. So what are you going to write there to describe the place based on how you see it? Create a strong visual through vivid description. Here, it's important that you use specific words, specific scenario because it's description. Evoke emotions through word choices. And since its focus is description, you have to give details of people, ideas, concepts, characters, events, and other topics if that would be your choice. While it does share some qualities with expository and narrative writing, the goal of descriptive writing is to appeal to the senses and bring the writing to life. Okay, common ideas here are poems, diary entries, observations, and lyrics. Key features, first, obviously, detailed descriptions of people, events, characters, ideas, or places. If it's not detailed yet, you have to practice writing in a detailed manner. Precise language and word choice, that's very important because it has to be detailed. Non-literal language. What is non-literal language? Be more creative. Be more flowery. Those things. Appeal to the senses. The tips and techniques appeal to the senses. Obviously, see, hear, taste, touch, smell. Those are very important manners to or techniques to write a descriptive writing. Use figurative language if you need to, but I think this is very important. It's a requirement for a descriptive writing or descriptive essay. You can use simile, metaphor, personifications, hyperbole, for as long as it gives you a vivid detail. Use strong verbs and vivid adjectives. Adjectives are very important here because you are giving details. Write in a way that shows instead of it tells. Okay? Example, describe a time when you felt most confident. Describe your favorite childhood memory, or describe the first time you did something amazing. Right? Like what I said, I will discuss also comparison and contrast essay. Here, you identify the similarities and you also identify the differences. It is one example of expository, but to be more specific, you give the similarities and differences. You analyze the similarities and differences. Here, you give the comparison and the contrast of two or more subjects, and it deals with showing what separates and unites related things or concept. Particularly, the subjects are often confused or each other unjustly lumped together. Because you're giving the reader an analysis of what to choose if you're going to compare two things. You can see this in concept paper, analysis paper, observations, or essays for comparison and contrast. Key features showing two sides of the topic: comparison and contrast. Comparative language, if you want to compare, you use similarly, likewise, there are a lot of words for that. Constructing words in contrast, conversely, despite, in spite of, these are words for contrast. But you can also find a lot of words to show contrast. No, address both similarities. That's the tips that I can. Those are one of the tips that I can give you. Use words that convey similarities and use languages that can show differences. An example of that is what are the similarities and differences of online classes to face-to-face classes? How is Roblox different or similar to Fortnite? And what are the comparisons and contrasts of collecting Pokemon cards with Pop Mart toys? Those are examples of again our types of text. So I hope you learned something for today. We will see each other next time. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.